Jai.
Good evening and welcome to the news. First, let us take a look at the headlines. Meghalaya Education Symposium 2023 held in Sikpak, Shillong. Meghalaya government to hold high-level meeting in view of night restriction clamping. Government plans to create around 1,000 homestays annually, says Tourism Minister. And 3 autonomous district councils opposes uniform civil code. The news in detail. Meghalaya Board of School Education MBO celebrated its 50th year today, organized a felicitation program for the SSLC and HSSLC toppers in the state, along with Swapnil Bhattacharya, who cracked the UPSC exam. 84 students from across the state were being felicitated at Shillong International Center for Performing Arts and Culture, Sikpak. Addressing the gathering, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma announced that Meghalaya Education Commission is ready and will be notified shortly. This Education Commission will put aside all the complications of different stakeholders that are there and be a commission that will independently look into the welfare of the students. The program Meghalaya Education Symposium 2023 looks back at the educational progress of the state and seeks to prepare students for their future endeavors and promote quality education within the state.
To ensure that we are able to improve the education sector and the overall quality, in spite of the many challenges that we face.
Upset with the district administration clamping the entire Shillong city under Section 144 CRPC after 10 p.m., Tourism Minister Paul Lingdo said stray incidents are always there, not only in Shillong. They happen everywhere in the world, but that doesn't mean that you will have to close everything. The minister assured that the state government will convene a high-level meeting today to review the law and order situation. The East Khasi Hills District Administration had issued an order under Section 144 CRPC prohibiting opening of shops, restaurants, enterprises in the entire Shillong city after 10 p.m.
Due respect to the officer concerned, when you have shops and everything is open, then there is more safety. When everything is shut, how do you instill that sense of confidence that everything is normal? How do you encourage local entrepreneurs to turn to tourism if things are shut at 10? And what happens if you have hotel guests arriving at 10?
Meghalaya government is planning to create around 1,000 homestays every year. This will help in generating employment in the tourism sector and will also help to create more tourism infrastructure in the state. Informing this, Meghalaya Tourism Minister Paul Lingdo said a loan agreement will be signed between the Government of India and the New Development Bank (NDB) to fund the Meghalaya Ecotourism Infrastructure Development Program. Apart from that, the Tourism Department will execute planned inclusion of Orchid Lake Resort, Polo Orchid Shillong under the joint venture model. Lingdo also said that locations of 13 institutions have been declared as no honking zone.
Which means that there will be a JV agreement between the government and private players based on their expertise in hospitality and tourism, and we expect to be able to generate extra revenue through this project, through this loan agreement, we will be able to facilitate creation of new accommodation facilities.
The leaders of 3 autonomous district councils, KHADC, JHADC and GHADC, met in Shillong yesterday to oppose the implementation of UCC. The 3 autonomous district councils of the state on Wednesday decided to submit a joint representation to the Law Commission of India to oppose implementation of the Uniform Civil Code in the 6 scheduled areas. Addressing reporters after the meeting, KHADC Chief Executive Member Pinyat Singh Eam reiterated concerns that UCC will have a direct impact on the powers and functions of the ADCs, especially on the customs, traditional practices and the community as a whole.
Since the Law Commission has given this appeal in public domain, so we feel that as responsible citizen of the state and as responsible autonomous district council of the state, we should go ahead and inform them that we oppose such implementation, such intention to implement the Uniform Civil Code in India, which will affect our state, Meghalaya, as well.
Spokesperson of the MDA government, Paul Lingdor, yesterday said that the state government will examine the pros and cons through the feasibility study to bring railway line to East Janta Hills. Speaking to reporters, Paul Lingdor said that the government had announced that they will conduct the feasibility study, would also mean that concerns of the various groups will be addressed in that study.
You have to make a very fine distinction between goods trains and passenger trains. We also have to take the ecology into consideration. What would be the impact on the ecosystem? Whether it will cause any imbalance in population and encourage illegal immigration. Those are core parameters that will ideally be part of this study that you referred to.
2 illegal under-construction coke factories, namely MS Halari Coke Plant and MS Shariansi Coke under the Sutanga Ilaka, East Janta Hills District, were demolished yesterday under the supervision of District Administration. The demolition was carried out by blasting through explosives. The demolition exercise will continue over the next few weeks against all illegal constructed coke plants within the district. The Environment Coordination Committee of Sutanga Ilaka expressed relief today as the demolition has started in the district after the people of the Ilaka as a whole had fought for the demolition of these coke oven plants in the Ilaka over the last 2 years of protest. The Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, Biodiversity and Wildlife and Chief Wildlife Warden Meghalaya Shillong SM Sahai IFS yesterday officially opened the Community Hall of Kur Lingdo Rat Ralyang. The Forest Department allocated a budget of 20 lakhs for the construction of the hall under the campus scheme. The purpose of funding the construction of the Community Hall of Kur Lingdo Rat Ralyang was to safeguard and preserve the 3.85 hectare forest area.
This instrument of community reserves under provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act, this gives opportunity to both the Forest Department and the communities to work together for a common goal of wildlife and forest conservation.
The weather report. The maximum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius and the minimum temperature was 18.1 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity in the morning was 98%, while in the evening was 79%. 4.4 millimeters of rainfall was recorded. The forecast, light to moderate rain is very likely to occur at few places. And before we wind up, here are the headlines once again. Meghalaya Education Symposium 2023 held in Sikpat, Shillong. Meghalaya government to hold high-level meeting in view of night restriction clamping. Government plans to create around 1,000 homestays annually, says Tourism Minister. And 3 autonomous district councils opposes uniform civil code. That's all we have in the news for today. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time, same channel. Thank you for watching, and until then, good night.